We are back for the final string of the final round in the Women's Pro Tour three-person team event. The denouement, if you will, of this tournament, which has had 18 of the best teams in New England competing against each other. And coming into the final string, the team of Jonathan Boudreau, Brandon Marks, and Maria Mazzarella lead by 8 over Craig Holbrook, Dave Barber, and Katie Barber, with Jonathan on lane 5 and Craig on lane 6. Craig beginning with an 8. And Jonathan with a 10. So that adds 2 to the lead, making it a 10-pin lead. Craig missing the head pin to the left, leaving the 4-horseman right. But I think you might rather have that lead than the one Jonathan Boudreau got after hitting the head pin. He's got triangle right side plus the 7, and he's looking over that couple of pieces of wood. This is going to be really tough to cover all 4. He's probably going to have to go high. And, well, tough to tell how he was playing that. It was, I couldn't really see a way to make all 4 of those, cover all 4 pins. Possibly by going very high. But in any case, it'll be a 9 for each bowler. Craig Holbrook with another 6 drop, this time going to the right side of the head pin. And once again, Jonathan Boudreau hits the head pin but leaves a split. So that is candlepin rolling for you. Jonathan waiting for the ball return. In the first string of this match, Jonathan, Brandon, and Maria had a 337 total to 329 for Craig Holbrook, Dave Barber, and Katie Barber. So it's been pretty much nip and tuck all the way. Another 9 box for each guy, 28 for Jonathan and 26 for Craig. Craig still having a little trouble finding the head pin. He's got the Caleri minus the 10. And finally, Jonathan breaks down the split there. He's got just the 2, 4, and 7 this time instead of the split. Craig with a nice bid on the 1, 3, 6, 8. But that 8 pin, as you well know, is the tough pin on that lead. You can either go high on the head pin or you can go light. But if any kind of a medium hit and the head pin is not going to cover that 8 pin. Craig will take another 9 box. He has 35 through the 4th. Jonathan Boudreau with 10. He has 38. So this is not a... And Craig with another 6 drop. I think that's 4 in a row. He's got the 1, 3, 6, and 7 this time. And Jonathan can't seem to catch a break when he comes full on the head pin. He's got the 4 and 6. Piece of wood that he's probably going to try and snap off the wall and have it cover the 4 and then go over and get the 6. This is difficult, but it can be done. And that's a nice try. That's exactly what he tried to do. He got it to snap off the wall, but it didn't come straight enough across. Ended up going in behind the 6 pin. Craig Holbrook with a 43 half. He's not going to be, he's looking a little disappointed in that. And Jonathan with a 47. So they will turn it over to Brandon Marks and Dave Barber. Brandon having the same fortune that Jonathan did with some of those head pin hits. He goes full on the 1-2 side and leaves the 3, 4, and 6. Dave Barber with a great bid on that half Worcester. Everything except the 5 pin. And he'll take a 10. Good job working out that half Worcester for a 10. Brandon with 9. Dave with his ball breaking in from left to right. Nice 1-2 pocket hit, but just a little bit thin. And he's got the 5, 7, and 8. Piece of wood over on the right. He's looking at Craig Holbrook to see if Craig has any ideas about how to play it. It's really not very promising. Might be able to smack the wood off the wall, but he decides not to even try to do that. And Brandon Marks goes a little bit too deep on that wood, and it just spins around the 4 pin. So what looked like a spare is going to turn into an open box. Katie Barber had a 9, and Brandon also has 9. Just hits the cap of that wood, and it goes around, the ball goes around the 4 pin. Sooner or later, someone's bound to throw a mark here. Dave Barber, light hit on the head pin. Drops 6, 3, 6, 7, and 10. Also a 6 drop by Brandon Marks, or is that a 7? I'm not sure. I think it's just the triangle. And sure enough, it was just a 3, 5, 6 triangle. Brandon takes it out cleanly against the 9 box by Dave Barber, who has 28 after 3. And Dave with another nice ball in the 1-2 pocket, but again he has that 5, 7, 8, and this time no wood at all, so he's just going to have to do the best he can to try and kick the 8 over, or the 5, and he just takes out the 5, 8. Not much more you can do with that. Nice shot by Brandon Marks on the 2-7 split. 2 spares in a row for Brandon. He will have 46 plus the bonus ball through 4. And Dave Barber with right back on the head pin again, but not having much to show for it. He's got the 4, 6. Couple of pieces of wood. A couple different ways you could play this. Not sure what's the best way to do it. Dave would like to get on the board at this point before he sits down. And good try. It looked like he was probably trying to catch the right side of that 6 pin with the wood that was sort of almost frozen behind it. Might have made it easier to kick the 6 over into the 4, but he didn't quite catch the 6. So he'll settle for another 9 box, and that's a 46 half for Dave. Not very exciting bowling, but there you have it. He does gain 3 pins as Brandon with a 6 in the 5th box, 54 half. So Katie Barber and Maria Mazzarella take the stage once again. Katie had the 3, 9, and 10. Just didn't quite catch the 3 pin. She's got it there. And there'll be a 9 for Maria Maz. When we get to halfway through the string, we'll update you on exactly where things stand. Maria Mazzarella with a 7 drop. Katie Barber looking at just the 6 pin with a plank. She should be able to cover this without a problem, and she does. Maria Mazzarella with 1, 2, and 10. Is that going to go? It does. A 2-pin comes off the wall, goes all the way over to pick up the 10, and you will see in this replay it just kicks off the wall, comes back across Scout, and it takes out the 10. Nice shot by Maria. Katie Barber filling the spare. And just one. That's not what she had in mind, obviously. Dave's poking fun at her. But that happens occasionally. And Maria Mazzarella with an 8 drop on the spare. Maria has the 2 and 8 with some wood. And it doesn't go. She wasn't able to catch the 2-pin. And Katie Barber wiggles out of that with an 8 box. Not too bad after just having 4 after 2 balls. So she has 29 after 3, and Maria Maz with 36. Katie is back on the head pin, but a split 2, 4, 6, 7. And Maria Mazzarella took out the big 5 on the first ball, so she's got what's left is the 1, 3, 5, 8, and 9. Difficult leave. And she's got it. That's an excellent shot right there. Have another look at how she does this. Very solid on the left side of the head pin and carries through to the back to take out the 5, 8, and 9. That's really a nice shot. And Maria with a nice 1-3 pocket hit, but really tough leave. 6 fill, and she's got the 4, 5, 7, and 10. Katie Barber made a nice try on the split, not quite converting it. She'll have 10. That's a 47 half. Maria Mazzarella with a nice 10 covering the 5 and 10. And here's a look at the scoreboard. Jonathan Boudreau, Brandon Marks, and Maria Mazzarella have marched out to a 35-pin lead at this point. Just by virtue of having a few marks there with some fairly decent fills. While Craig, Dave, and Katie were only able to muster 1 mark between the 3 of them in the first half. But Craig Holbrook still has 5 boxes to see what he can do. And he drops 6. Almost the same hit that Jonathan just had. And those are, well, Jonathan got that 7 to go. He's got the 9 and 10. Some wood, but it's going to be difficult. Conferring with Brandon Marks to see if Brandon has any ideas about how to play that. Probably going to try to go out toward the left end of that. Well, no, he kind of went the other way. Maybe trying to get the ball to cover them both. Hard to tell. That was a tough shot either way. Craig Holbrook with 10. Craig with a nice hit on the head pin, and is he going to break down that split? Yeah, he does. Able to break down that 2 and 1 and just leave the 6 pin by itself. Jonathan Boudreau also with the 6 pin, and he's got a nice plank in front of it that should make it pretty easy to convert. Even more easily than Craig Holbrook just did with his 6 pin, and that goes. So that's spare versus spare in the 7th box. Craig Holbrook filling that spare. Is that going to go? It does. That is a strike on spare for Craig Holbrook. right on time. Strike in the 8th, and after not having a mark through 6, he's gone spare strike. So that's going to be a big help to cutting down the lead. And there's a great shot by Jonathan Boudreau. Take a look at this. 1-3-7 just cuts that head pin right over into the 7. 2 spares in a row for Jonathan as Craig fills the strike, and he was really focused in on that 1-3 pocket trying to throw a double, and he threw a good ball, but he's got 5, 7, 8, and 10 with a piece of wood angled in front of the 5 and 8, and he uses it to perfection there to cover that 5, 7, 8, 10. We'll give you a slow motion look at it in just a moment. Meanwhile, Jonathan Boudreau working on that check mark spare leave, the 2, 4, 5, 7, and he hit the object pin but caught a little bit too much of it. And he'll have a 9. Here's another look at the spare by Craig Holbrook. That would really perfectly positioned to sweep the 5, 8 over into the 10 while the ball took out the 7. So that's 3 marks in a row for Craig. And he puts, that's going to be 8 on that spare, and pretty good chance at another one as he has the 4, 7. Meanwhile, Jonathan Boudreau punches out the leave that is known in some circles as the Irby for reasons that we don't have time to explain. But anyway, Craig Holbrook with his 4th mark in a row. So he has got 121 plus the fill ball in the 10th. And Jonathan with 99 through 9. So he'll be trying to fill out as much count as he can here. And that's just a 7. So it'll be a 106 game. And we'll see what Craig can do with that spare in the 10th. Just 4. Craig is a little disappointed with that, but nonetheless, that's 4 marks in a row and a 125 game. So that has cut into the lead considerably. It's now down to 23 pins for Jonathan Boudreau, Brandon Marks, and Maria Mazzarella as Brandon Marks and Dave Barber come up. And again, they're bowling the whole string on the same lane. They're not changing lanes in this format. But as you'll recall, in the first string of this final match, the teams were on the opposite lanes. So they're bowling a whole string on each lane. Dave Barber with 6, 2, 4, 7, 10. Couple of pieces of wood that might help him make this if he can hit the 2, 4, 7. And he's got it. Great shot there. Brandon Marks working on the diamond left side, 2, 4, 5, 8. And he knocks that down, matching the spare by Dave. Dave Barber working on the spare, and he is in the 1-3 pocket, drops 8. Brandon in the 1-2 pocket, but look at that. He's dropped 5. Pretty good hit, but he just has nothing to show for it whatsoever. That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with no wood. That is really a tough break. And he was trying to probably cut the 5 over into the 9 and 6. But he'll still have 4 pins to work on here. Dave Barber with a nice 10 in the 7th. And Brandon Marks will take an 8. Didn't do too badly to get out of it with an 8 after that horrendous leave. He had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know when the last time was I saw that. Dave Barber with a light hit on the left side, taking out 5. Again, he's got some wood, and it looks pretty good. It might help him to get rid of that cluster. Diamond +1. And he pushes that one straight back. He kind of hit that cap, hit it really high, and just pushed that first wood right back into the into the group. And a spare by Brandon Marks. Nice shot there. Show you how Brandon did this. Pushes that double wood, and that's behind the 4-pin, and the second wood rolls over into the 10. So that's matching spares in the 8th. And just 3 for Dave. A little bit of a pitch out there. Brandon with, again, kind of a less than ideal leave off a pretty good hit. 1-3 pocket. He's got 5, 7, and 8. And he might be able to make this if he can hit the 5-pin in one of a couple of ways. He might be able to do it, but he went to the left, didn't catch the 5-pin, so he'll be open. Dave Barber with the 10 box in the 9th. Brandon working on the 5-pin, and he's got it. So 1 box remaining for each guy. Dave has 97 and Brandon has 104 through the 9th. There is a strike by Dave Barber. Wow. Been struggling a little bit with the control in this string, but this is right on time. Smashes the 1-3 pocket, trips out the 4, and that is a strike in the 10th box for Dave Barber. That's really the way to close it when you need it. He was right in the 1-3 pocket there. Brandon Marks has a 6 drop, and he looked over at Jonathan to confer about what to do with this wood. And he's got it. That came off the wall. Let's take a look at it again. This first wood comes off the wall while the second one is covering the 4-7. And the first wood takes out the 5-8. So that's a spare against the strike that Dave had. And Dave with a very light hit, but it's another strike. That's a double in the 10th. So Brandon needs a good fill ball. And he does get a good fill. 7, good 1-2 pocket hit, drops 7. That's a 121 game for Brandon Marks. Dave Barber with 117 plus the fill. And that's going to be 4. So he will also have a 121 game. So let's take a look at the scoreboard. It is now just a 4-pin lead for Jonathan Boudreau, Brandon Marks, and Maria Mazzarella, as that 24 box on the end by Dave Barber was very helpful. Katie Barber going through the middle, spread eagle. Maria Mazzarella also very full on the head pin. Katie with 3 more. And so they both got 7 after 2. That will be an 8 box for Katie Barber. And Maria Mazzarella had a chance to pick up to make a gain there, but instead she loses a pin. So she has 69 through 6. Katie Barber with 55. That makes it a 3-pin lead for Boudreau, Marks, and Mazzarella. Katie Barber with 7 and 10, and so with this rolling around, where it's going to settle down, we don't really know yet. It looks like right there. So she asks Dave for a read. And that's a nice bid right there. She got the 7 and got the wood to come off the wall, but it just went in front of the 10-pin instead of taking it down. That was an excellent bid. And Maria Mazzarella right on the object pin, but that was all she was able to get. So that's a 6. And that means that Katie Barber picks up 4 pins, and they now have taken the lead by 1 pin. Katie Barber, Dave Barber, and Craig Holbrook lead by a pin with 3 boxes to go. So this thing is going right down to the wire. Katie with a good second ball. After that 2 drop, she comes back and makes a nice bid. And Maria with a good try on she had the 1, 2, 6, and 10. Got a little bit too light on the head pin. And Katie will take an 8. And Maria will also take an 8. A little bit missing an opportunity again to pick up a pin or 2 there. So it will still be a 1-pin lead for Katie Barber. She drops 9. And Maria with almost that same lead she had a minute ago with taking out the 3, 5, and 9. But this time she also got the 7 out of there. Wow, great shot by Maria Mazzarella to convert the spare in the 9th. That is clutch. That's going to tie it up. Let's take a look at this. You'll note that the ball comes off the wall and takes out the 10-pin, although that other pin might well have done it. So that makes it a tie game through 9 boxes. 1 box left. It's a tie. Of course, Maria Mazzarella is going to untie it with the fill ball. And Katie with a split. So Maria drops 5. That means that Katie Barber has got to convert this 2, 4, 10 split. Wow. Wow, that is clutch right there. Look at this. Katie Barber cuts the 2-pin over into the 10, and that's perfect. That is just a great shot right there. So that means that, see what Maria Mazzarella can do. She doesn't get the spare, but she does get 3. So they will lead by 3. She wants to get these last 2 if at all possible. And no, she doesn't. It's just an 8 box for Maria. So that means that with 1 ball to go, Katie Barber needs 3 pins to tie, 4 to win. And she's got it. She's got 4 pins right there. That is a 1-pin victory. And I don't know if that last pin counted or not because the machine had started. But in any case, they didn't need it. That is a 1-pin victory for Craig Holbrook, Dave Barber, and Katie Barber over Jonathan Boudreau, Brandon Marks, and Maria Mazzarella. As the winning team accepts the congratulations and the applause from the assembled spectators. That was a classic final match right there, right down to the last ball. You can't ask for more exciting action than that. So Craig Holbrook, Dave Barber, and Katie Barber are the winners of this Women's Pro Tour 3-person team, otherwise known as the Rose Between Two Thorns event. Great action and well deserving of the victory in this event, and we will catch you at the next tournament.